How's everyone doing today? My name is Kaz. I work in the quality department of the agency. Today in this video, what we're going to cover is bulletins. Now, before we go into the topic today, I do want to just give you a quick recap on, what the quality team does. Remember, the quality team's job is to protect the overall business of the agency, right? Jake and Albie, that's who we're here to protect, right? Because if they're not profitable, they can't run the business. We're not profitable. Actually, we don't even have a job. And I don't know about you, but I do like working for the agency. So what we're going to cover is bulletins. Now, bulletins, what they are, we're going to go through a few examples. We're going to go through where these bulletins are tracked and how to make sure that you're doing your job when it comes to following up with bulletins. So I will preface by saying it's not the most interesting topic, but it is a very important topic because ultimately, good quality of business means, good profitability within the business, which, is obviously something that we're all shooting for. So make sure we take good notes. If you need to stop the video, rewatch the video, I strongly encourage you do so. All right. And just ask as many questions as you need to. Bug your managers if you need to. I'm going to put my number up here at the end. Bug me if you need to, because no one's going to care about your business more than you're going to care about your business. All right, so let's go into what a bulletin is. Let's write this down. A bulletin is a piece of information needed for the company in order to get the policy that you have written through the underwriting process, right? If they don't have that information, they can't complete the application of the policy, meaning it incompletes. All right, we're going to cover incompletes in the future, but if a bulletin is not completed, it will incomplete. All right, so a few examples of a bulletin. All right, number one would be a questionnaire. Questionnaire is just a piece of information that the company needs, on a questionnaire that you may have filled out 100% correct, or maybe you just missed a yes or no question. But a questionnaire is just redoing the questionnaire that you had done in the house and resending it to the company. Very simple. You could do that right over the phone. Number two, an APS. An authorized physician statement, otherwise known as a HIPAA form. Certain hospitals, certain doctors, certain facilities need their own specific HIPAA form to release the information of the client that you sat with. So it could just be something as simple as calling them up, getting that HIPAA form done over the phone, having them send it back to you. Third would be like prescription history. All right, just verifying their prescription history over the phone. And then fourth would also be an exam. Maybe the company needs an exam booked or the client needs an exam booked. We work with a third-party company, a group of traveling nurses. Sometimes the company is going to say, hey, we need to get an exam done because they haven't had an exam done within maybe a year or so. So the nurses, their company is going to reach out to the client, but if they can't get in contact with that client, they're going to send it to us, right, hoping that you as the agent, who has a relationship with the client, could reach out to your client and get that exam booked for them to help along with the process. All right, so those are some examples of what would come up as a bulletin. Now, what I want to do is go through the actual tracker, what the tracker looks like. All right, now everybody is going to be on a different MGA team. Now, every MGA team is going to have their own bulletin tracker. But what your MGAs are going to do is they're going to go over these trackers twice a week. I'm not sure the time that your meetings are. Everybody's meetings are a little bit different. But if you don't have access to the bulletin tracker right away, which you actually won't, you will have access down the road. It doesn't mean that you can't get the information. Your management will go over it, and once again, make sure you're reaching out to follow up with anything that you need on these bulletin trackers. Okay. Now, when a bulletin comes out, a bulletin is going to come out. Write this down. Every Wednesday, bulletins are given to us from home office. On Thursday, your manager goes over. Now, when the bulletin comes out, write this down. We have 10 days to complete that bulletin before it incompletes, right? We don't want anything to go incomplete because then we have to go through reopening the policy, which we'll go through in a different video. But we have 10 days. So write down, bulletins are the most urgent things to get handled. Handle those ASAP. In fact, when I was an agent, what I would do after every manager meeting, when I got a bulletin that I knew that I needed to work, I would instantly call them up as soon as the meeting finished. So they're very urgent. Now, seeing that you have 10 days before this goes incomplete, the way that our system works within the agency is that we're going to give you 7 days to complete this bulletin. So being in the quality department, we actually don't even work these bulletins for 7 days. So you have 7 days when they come out. All right, we have the 3 days, all right, after those 7 days to work them as a quality team, right? Because we have 10 days total. Let's take a look at the actual bulletin tracker really quick. It's pretty self-explanatory, guys. The bulletin tracker, you guys can see, it's going to have a bunch of columns here. We have a policy number column just to track the clients easier. We have an applicant's name. We have the agent who was out to see them. So what you're going to see in these next couple columns, you're going to see needs exam, call 1-800 number, questionnaire. You're going to see APS. All right, this is just a quick understanding of what the bulletin is. All right, so there's an X in the column. Following that, you have the Monday and Wednesday bulletin date. So that's when the bulletin actually opened to the agency. All right, you also have a management date. I'm not going to get too much in depth with this. Essentially, every manager is different, but the management date is just like a secondary date. So before quality works it, sometimes your higher up management will work it just to keep it within the hierarchy. Then we also have, as you can see, the open to quality control date, which is us. That's going to be 7 days after the bulletin's release. And then you have the incomplete date, which is going to be 10 days from the bulletin date. All right. Other couple columns, we have APS, which is just the APS that is needed if they need an APS. And then the comments. The comment section is important. This is essentially, what the company is telling us we need. Okay. So first one, it says, waiting AI records. Actually, that's a good thing. That means that it's done. Company's just waiting to get some information from the client. You might see a police assistant scheduling an exam. You might see a verify prescription drug history. All right, these are all very normal. All right. Now, being that you might not have access to the tracker, please make a note. Follow up with your managers as many times as you need to. If you forgot what you might have needed for the client or you just want to double check, follow up and we'll get you that access. Okay. Let's cover the actual color of the bulletins, what these mean. Green is good. Obviously, green means it's been handled by either you or it's been handled by the quality team. The information is collected, it's sent to home office, or being that you're new agents, you will just directly send it to your manager who will then send that information to home office. So if it's red basically means that it's not good. It's bad. Red is something that is now open to quality. Right? This is a product of one of two things from my experience. Number one is agents being lazy. Actually, that's 80-90% of the time. Or number two, it's that they're not prepping their clients, that there's going to be a follow-up call potentially, right? That they might need some more information. So now they feel nervous like, oh my God, I have to call my client. I thought the policy was done. We signed everything. We got the bank info. In fact, it's very normal to follow up with a client. It's a good thing. It means that the policy's going through the process as normal. Let's look at yellow, guys. Yellow is another example. Yellow is something that's being worked by the agent, and maybe you just have a follow-up note. I have an appointment booked for a future date, a week from now. You put a note, you change it to yellow. This way, quality will not work it. All right? So we need to make sure we're communicating with your managers. If you book an appointment and you don't tell your manager, they don't put a note in, they don't change it yellow, and it's open to quality, well, we don't know. And we want to make sure that the communication is even and in line. All right, maybe you have a scheduled exam booked for a week out. So yellow is just something that's being worked. Now, I want to make it very clear. We will not work it, even if it's open to us, if there's a note from you guys. All right? So just make sure we communicate. However, vice versa, once quality team works it and we book an appointment, okay? Let's say for a week out, works the same way. All right, so if we book one, at that point, your manager is going to tell you, hey, quality has, appointment booked, unfortunately, because you didn't do the follow-up in a timely fashion, they're going to be working it, okay? There's two other colors we're not going to get very much in depth on. Besides that, guys, remember, just to recap everything, bulletins are something that's needed to get the policy approved through the underwriting process. So they are very urgent. All right. I always just end it off by saying nobody is going to care about your business more than you. Bug your managers, bug us, make sure that you are following up, because ultimately the more you follow up on your book of business, the more profit you're going to see within the company, and everybody's happy. This is my number. Feel free to shoot me a call, give me a text at any time. All right, and until next time, guys, look forward to talking to you guys more and teaching you a little bit more about the quality side of business.